That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
It's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. So why leave your connection up to chance? Fiber is fast and keeps you on track with reliable service from real people. Because with bad internet, buffering, hidden fees, and random robots can feel like start, stop, wait, start, no wait, stop, or just switch to Fiber and break free from misery. Visit allofiber.com/break free to get started with Fiber today.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Krekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson VHS LLC, and joined back this Sunday on the ones and twos, Harrison. So glad to see you, Harrison. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing better. I talking to Jay Foreman. I got my Husker rant out of the way.
Okay.
I've accepted it. The Bears have to make the weekend a little better. They got the Colts at noon. I have zero bragging rights to Jay Foreman because the Texans dismantled the Bears.
Right.
Hopefully I get something over Austin Orman. And obviously Husker football, they took a tough loss, but we do get volleyball today.
Yeah, I was going to say volleyball starting up here.
Louisville.
Starting up here shortly. And so in Louisville had a great week, beat Stanford.
Yep.
So I guess dismantled Stanford, to be perfectly honest. But, they said, that's a Final Four team in itself. And so that says a lot about the Huskers. And so a lot of things going on in the area, and it's been kind of great. A little bit overcast today.
I love it. I've been kind of waiting for a little bit of break in the heat.
Well, you're a runner. You're a runner too. So are you like this kind of weather? Is this the kind of weather you like to get out in, or do you more of the heat?
I mean, a part of it, I do like this weather because it gives me better excuses if I don't feel like going out for a run that day. But when it comes to fall, I'm just big on fall. Like I need my fall weather when it gets like Halloween movies, like the scary movies, all that stuff. I kind of love that environment. So we're getting here. It's getting close to October. I want the mood to change a little bit. Like 90, I'll take some heat, 70, but when we're talking like 90 degrees plus in September, I'm not a fan.
See, and I'm a heat person, so because that means I know soon enough the cold weather is going to come. It's going to be people are going to be like, well, I'm over this, and so just keep me the heat as long as absolutely possible. But great day out. I know people have had the Husker talk, and so we're going to limit that because this, like you always say, is kind of the feel good component of the week, and definitely got a scholar in house that I am truly excited to have. But if you do want to listen or just chime in, how can they go ahead and do that, Harrison?
Yeah, as always, all Sunday long. And quick programming notes. Speaking of NFL, we're going to have the switch over at 11:30. So you'll catch this first segment on the Brick and Mortar, the FM airwaves. But from that point forward at 11:30, use Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitter, whichever one you want to call it, Allo Channel 961 if you got Allo Cable. And if you missed all of those, you can always go back on those streams, replay it, or catch the podcast sometime this afternoon. Want to get all that caught up and done. So plenty of ways to join in. And again, NFL starting at 11:30. So use those streams for the rest of this Sunday ticket slate to catch the rest of these shows.
Yeah, and I've loved just people who've come up and inquired about just like how to listen, but they listen during the course of the week.
Yeah.
Sometimes we switched over a little bit through football season to 11 a.m., but they said, I would catch it during the week, and it was kind of that pick me up and take some nuggets. So continue to do that. We really do encourage that with all the shows. They're all cataloged, and you're able to go ahead and listen to them kind of at your pleasure and will. But just a couple shout outs, get the opportunity. Want to Jarrell Roach, who's been on the show, but also a close friend, went up to his birthday. He turned 42 last night, and so had a comedy show up in Omaha to celebrate. And so just wanted to, that he's been somebody who's been a supporter of my family and just the community, and just gives and gives and gives. And so wanted to wish him a happy birthday for, just who he is, what he's about. He's also serves in the military and has had a long, extensive career, and then gone overseas, and just truly was great to see him in an element celebrate with friends and family last night. So happy birthday. Jay Roach, or as they call him, Bud Rell, is also a graduate of North Star High School. It had a week, the Inspire nominees. We talked about it a little bit last week, but the 93.7's own Miss Rebecca Pearson was a finalist in the small business category. And again, we've talked about that a couple weeks ago, but all the things that she does, but that was given out on Tuesday. And just, again, congratulations, well earned to her and all the nominees. But we've had a number of nominees that have been on the show. And so I just want to give a shout out to them. Congratulations to Dawson Reese, who was in the Young Leaders category. Catrice Olds was a finalist for the Inspire Scholarship. Maya Stevenson was a finalist in the Women's in Sports category as well. And then a personal note of privilege, Dr. Karen Kassebaum, who won the large business. She's works at Huddle with diversity, equity, inclusion there. And so she won that award. And then Ella Donner, who we're looking to have on coming up here in October with some of her theater mates that are in Charlotte's Web at the Lincoln Community Playhouse. So was a finalist as well. And so and then with Salah, Wid was she, and I almost was remiss on saying her, Wid actually, she won the Young Inspires a $5,000 scholarship. And so
we've had Wid on before,
Wid was on for the Martin Luther King Youth Rally in March. And
you're right.
Wid, phenomenal. All these scholars are phenomenal, but oftentimes people will, I'll get texts and go, "Are you serious? Are they in high school or are they in middle school?" And so congratulations, Wid and Catrice were both finalists, and Wid won that scholarship, who is now a first-year scholar at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. I really shouldn't say I'm like too surprised here. I mean, we've had some of these great young scholars you've brought on here, but even, some of the older people we bring on too. It's just incredible how many great people are around Lincoln. And it was great to talk to Magic again the other day. He came in by to say what's up.
Awesome.
Time change, work. He's not always able to catch bigger than the score now. But yeah, he, again, just kind of re-emphasizing the fact it's like, the media wants to tell you all these problems, and it's like, if you kind of just close that stuff off and like talk to some of the young faces around Lincoln, you feel pretty good about the direction of the future. Like, I think these guys are smarter than they get credit for. They're wiser than they get credit for. So yeah, I'm not overly surprised, but it is awesome to see those guys get the recognition they deserve.
Well, and thanks again to the ticket and being the platform. Just you got to see and know who they were before they were actually nominees and finalists, and that's what this is all about. A couple other things, just UNK volleyball. I know I heard you made they were making light of me wearing a UNK shirt to a Husker game. It's all under the same umbrella. It's all the same system, but they are 12-0, number 4 in the country. And so as we talked about Husker volleyball earlier, again, you got Wayne State and Concordia, Hastings. You got a lot of area programs doing really, really well in regards to that. And then just yesterday, every September 21st, something that's close to me, Alzheimer's World Alzheimer's Day. My mom was diagnosed with it, had it for 12 years, and it's just a global effort to raise awareness and challenging the stigma around that Alzheimer's and dementia. And so there's 55 million people in the country, around the world, that are impacted by this terrible disease. And I always said, it wasn't what my mom was forgetting. It was the memories she gave us while she forgot, while she was forgetting things and her cognitive abilities. And so we just ask people, know those signs. You can go to support. You can go to alls.org if you want more information. But a couple of those signs are withdrawal from work and social activities, difficulty completing familiar tasks, and then memory loss that disrupts those daily things. And so again, just again, those who are impacted whether they're currently just they have the disease, caregivers, there's a huge burden that goes on with the caregivers, but also just those elements that are contributing. So wanted to recognize that as we move forward. So again, go to alls.org so you can find other ways to support. So with that being said, want to uplift a little bit. Our guest today, and I am truly, truly excited about this guest. The station hosts a lot of individuals. We got Hall of Famers, we've got All-Americans, we've got broadcasters of the year, station owners. I mean, you got everything under the sun.
Former NBA, former NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the shout out Darius Luff, who's been on. We got great athletes just about in every pocket of the Nebraska universe here. And then plus some for the guys who went on outside of Nebraska borders and then continue to have dominant careers.
So the question I have to ask is, I think, Scholar Abina, you are going to be our first national champion poetry interpretation guest. Because we got a national championship. We got a national champion sitting here in our seats this morning. And so I want to welcome Scholar Abina. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
No, fantastic. And so I probably didn't do the full-on introduction. I wish we had clips and we'd play and we'd have sounders and everything like that. I should have said future East High Spartan Hall of Fame alumni recognition, because that's the road you're on. But Harrison and I always chop it up a little bit. And I know Harrison did some different things in school than I did. We did some things similar, but Harrison, were you in speech, debate? Did you do any of that at your school?
So I'm not sure how this goes private school, but we did have to do poetry out loud every year.
Okay.
I did that. I tried speech and I was not very good at either of those. So I did try it.
Okay. So,
but poetry seems like an easy thing. You're like, let me just read some words real quick, memorize the sentences. I'll tell you what, to actually get the emphasis and power behind the words to actually make it compelling is something I never fully understood, because we did it every year and I could never catch the rhythm.
Okay, so Abina, you're gonna have to coach us up here a little bit later, because I think we're gonna have a poetry off or something, whatever we call it. But Abina, welcome again to the space. Tell us a little bit about you and introduce yourself. Have you always lived in Lincoln? Who's Abina?
So as you said, I am a poetry national champion.
Okay.
I've done speech for 2 years. This is about to be my 3rd year of speech.
All right.
I'm also in the East High yearbook, which I feel like is honestly how I kind of got here, because it started off with, we did a story on equity and the equity cadre. And then I went there and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have to be a part of it.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to get to that in a little bit, but just tell us first off, who's in your family?
Oh, my family?
Yeah.
I have my dad, my mom, and my sister. Those are like my close relatives.
Awesome.
And they're all from the country of Ghana. So a lot of my family is in Ghana, but there's also a lot of my family in America. I have my auntie Frida. She's like the sweetest aunt I know. She always gives me cake for my birthday.
Oh, okay. What kind of cake does she cook? See, Harrison's always like, you always bring people in here to talk about food. What's the cake that is her go-to?
Well, I feel like her version of cake is something that Americans would call like just banana bread with pecans in it, because like in Ghana, we don't have like the cake with the frosting and all that. But it's basically just like this really nice banana bread, and it's got some pecans in it. Sometimes you put like coconut shreds in it, and it's really good.
Oh, it's time to throw down. We
That
gotta have
good to me.
Grandma Frida. We need you to go ahead and come in studio. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Tell us your folks' names. We kind of tongue in cheek joke about that a little bit. Of like we share something in common, as we talked about a week ago. We don't call our folks by their first names, but I want people to recognize and know who they are.
Yeah. So my dad is Frank Bonsu. He's here in the studio. He's sitting over there watching me. And my mom is Jacqueline Bonsu, and she's at home. I think she's at church. She took my sister to church.
Okay.
And my sister is Afia Afriye Bonsu. So yeah, she has that extra hyphenated part of her last name, which is just kind of, in Ghana, like all of our names have like meanings. So, for example, Abina means a girl born on Tuesday in the Akan language because, like for example, Tuesday is called Benada. So then my name is Abina. That's how you would actually pronounce it. But of course, I go by Abina to like all the to
No,
everyone
that's
else. Yeah.
love that. And so talk about just your school journey. You've talked about Ghana
Mhm.
a little bit. Is that a place you've been,
Yes.
or what? Tell us, like, have you always gone to school in Lincoln? Kind of tell us about
Yeah.
your journey to now currently being at Lincoln East.
Well, I'm Lincoln born and raised. I went to Maxie, I went to Lux, and then I've gone to East, which
Okay.
I'm almost done with. But that was kind of ever since I was in elementary school, I was like, I know I'm gonna go to Maxie, Lux, and East.
Okay.
And that's just how it's been. And with Ghana, yeah, I've been there twice. Last time I was there was in 2019, and I really want to go there again soon.
Awesome. And you talked about family that's in Ghana. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure we like to say that this station is not just Lincoln, it's not just the States, but we go worldwide. And so
Mhm.
your family in Ghana that's listening, what do you want to say to them?
Well, I want to say that I love them very much, especially my grandma Violet. She's my favorite person ever. She's very, very sweet. And yeah, and I all I do is to make them proud, and I'm very happy that I'm able to do that.
You're definitely doing that. If we were to go to Ghana, I'm just curious, what makes Ghana so unique and so special as a piece? Because that's something you started off talking about, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So
Mhm.
obviously, it carries an important piece in who you are and culture. So what is a piece that's something that everybody should know about Ghana that makes it so important and a part of you?
It's just so welcoming and homey. It's just like, especially as somebody who is raised in in a primarily white society, to go somewhere where everyone is black, it just feels like everyone is your family. It's not like you see one black person and you're like, "Hey," but it's like everyone's black, everyone's family,
Hmm.
and it's very warm, sweet, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a model. Like when you talk about everybody can be family, I think that's a model that can be followed and should be followed anywhere that you go. And so I appreciate you bringing that forward. So tell us a little bit, what is unique about you? So I always say, like, what is something that people, when they first see you, they can kind of pretty much, nail. They're like, okay, yeah, that's about me. That's me. But then also, what is the other thing that they have to spend some time getting to know you? That is like, now that's really truly who I am. That's what I'm about.
I think one thing about me is that I tend to always put people before myself. Even if it like would end up hurting me, I end up putting people before myself.
Mm.
And I feel like that's something that like over time people come to learn.
Okay, okay. And then what is something people see just when you're walking down the street? Like you bring that presence when you come in the room, they're like, okay, I'm here. This is what I'm about. I mean, maybe it's that national championship aura that you have when you come into space, but what is that piece about you that people get when you just walk in the room?
Uh I don't know. As you said, aura.
Okay, okay.
Crazy, crazy aura. I would say specifically just that like even though I would say to an extent, I'm not even sure how true this is anymore, but I feel like I'm an introverted person, but I do like to challenge myself and put myself out there, and I like talking to people and learning about people, which I feel that draws people in because they like it when you ask about them and want to learn about them.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I like that. So we in the spaces that we've gotten together, something I always ask is, what is your purpose? And so I'm just curious, like, what's Abina's purpose? If you were to start talking with somebody, is like, my name is Peter Ferguson, and my purpose is, what is yours?
Oh, well, first of all, I'd like to say I thought it was very powerful when you did that at the cadre to say, "Hey, my name is so and so and this is my purpose." Like I never thought about introducing myself like that, and I was really spent a long time brainstorming. I was like, "Oh my goodness, what is my purpose?" I was like, "What is
Yeah.
my purpose?" And so I liked how you had us like write down things about ourselves to kind of figure out what leads up to our purpose. So, what I finally came up with is that my purpose is to shine a light for others.
Mm. How do you do that? I mean, because I mean, Harris and I are sitting here like looking and we're conversing with you. And I think you do that by your mere, just your physical presence being in space. But sometimes people are like, okay, that's my purpose. But like, what is one action step that you have taken to ensure that that happens in the spaces that you're in?
Just like not putting people down, not being negative, just being very light, jokey, airy, fun, just not trying to like dim others or diminish others. Like even to the point where like the whole like the national champion thing. It's like at some points like I remember through my first day of school, like first class I was like, yeah, I'm a national champion. But then by the like last class of the day I was like, yeah, I went to nationals because I didn't want to like make people feel less, you know?
Mm. I that's something I probably need to, because I'm sorry, like if the Cowboys win, this is my Cowboys reference. I'm coming in. I'm like, they won. I'm taking all the helmets off. We're putting different helmets up there.
You're as bad as Jay Foreman when the Texans win.
Yeah. I
you
mean,
guys are loud. Well, I'll give the crown to Jake Sorensen actually for the loudest fan.
Okay.
When his Dolphins
when
win.
the Dolphins
but
win.
It's a close race between you three.
Well, I like how you said that though. It's just like you become you're humble. You're humble in a sense, and I think that's when you talk about national champion, and here you are in high school in a something that's probably the hardest thing for most people to do when they say, what are some of the hardest things to do? And it's like to speak in front of people. I mean, that's just something that you should be having a billboard and everything under the sun, because that's not easy. So I appreciate you being humble in regards to that.
Yeah, I probably start selling t-shirts. I gotta cut us off though, because we are coming to a break here. And again, we got NFL coming up, so we got to be hard on the clock here. But Pete, I'll let you tease it. What you want to dive into on this next segment.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about your involvement. So when we come back on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score, we're going to ask you more about your involvement and why you choose those involvements. So we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out, because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out, with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Male have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Male. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmale.com.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority, inviting you to stop in and check out the #1 selling complete post-workout product, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out, exercises, or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today, try a free sample, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget, with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better. Attention, Nebraska. It's time to show off the best our state has to offer. Help Beatrice Bakery's famous fruitcake snag the title of coolest thing in Nebraska. Made with love and loaded with local flavor, this fruitcake isn't just a treat, it's a tradition. Cast your vote today and let's put Beatrice Bakery on the map. Vote now and make the fruitcake of Beatrice Bakery the coolest thing in Nebraska. Visit theticketfm.com and click the link to vote. That's theticketfm.com. Go and vote now.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping. Thrift camping is saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
It's the greatest time of the year again. Kickoff is here and football is officially back. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and this year you can too. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code EARLY, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code EARLY to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 19 plus in Nebraska and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. To Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and joined on the ones and twos with Harrison. I know we are making the switch over at 11:30, Harrison, for NFL football. So if you want to continue to engage, and we'd love you to continue to engage with us, because I know the Cowboys game does not start until 2 or 3 o'clock. So continue to engage with us and Scholar Abina, but you can do that on Allo Channel 961. You can also do that on X or YouTube. But the brick and mortars will be switching over to NFL, correct?
Yep. So if you're listening right now, that means you did a good job finding the streams. Yes. That means you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo. If you got friends and family wondering what happened, send them to the streams. Any of them will work.
Yeah, and you'll definitely want to continue on with us. And so we have Scholar Abina in the I don't say the space in the house in the studio, and she is just dropping dimes and nuggets and knowledge all over the place. And Abina, as we left, you had talked about your purpose, and I want you to share that again for those who kind of are switching over or just catching.
Okay. So I said my purpose is to shine a light for others.
Fantastic. And so you are a multi-involved individual. We're going to get to the national championship piece and your piece and how you're facilitating that for a repeat to be a two-time national champion. But what are some of the involvements that you are currently in, but also that you've had leading up to this elementary, middle, and high school?
I think I'm gonna start with high school. I would like to say like I started off, I didn't do speech.
Okay.
I At the very beginning, I didn't even do theater, didn't do yearbook. I was a sports person. I played softball. Sophomore year, I played softball and soccer. Like sports was kind of who I was. I was a sporty person.
Well, and you said your softball coach is listening in, so or a
Yeah.
former softball. So go ahead and give that coach a shout out.
Hi, Coach Chambers. I'm glad that you're listening.
Awesome, awesome. So I saw your profile and you did soccer, I believe, goalie.
Yeah.
Okay. And so did that start elementary, middle? What are some of the things you did leading up to that? And then we'll talk about the transition and shift into what you're doing now.
So the soccer thing is kind of crazy. I played soccer when I was like 4, 5, or 6.
Okay.
And I hated it.
Okay.
And then I quit. But then my sophomore year, my friend was like, "Hey, what if we played soccer? I heard they make no cuts. So what if we played soccer?" And I was like, I'm not sure how much I want to play soccer. We're gonna be in a play. Like that sounds like a lot of work. And she was like, "No, it'll be fine. I'll be doing it with you." So we played soccer.
Okay. So your family are they, were they kind of sports minded? Was soccer, softball were things that they were interested in, or did they kind of just support you to say, follow your path, whatever you wanted to do?
It was kind of like a follow your path, but also my parents love soccer. But when I said I didn't want to do soccer when I was like 5 or 6, they were like, "Okay." But then when I said I was gonna do soccer again, like 11 years later, they were like, "Okay."
There- so I like the fact you said, okay, let's just go. They don't make cuts. Let's just go ahead and play. And so tell us about like you've done, you just said soccer, softball, a couple other things. Is there anything else that you did kind of growing up with dance, or were you involved in, I don't, being a mentor or anything like that?
Not really. No, I was just kind of softball primarily. I played softball from when I was 10 to when I was 16.
Okay.
And that was kind of my main thing. Other than that, it was just like school.
Okay, so leading to your involvements now, obviously you're doing a ton of things, but what are you involved in right now? And then why did you choose those involvements?
Okay, so right now, obviously, I'm a speech kid. I do
Okay.
speech. That's my main thing. Like, if there's one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be a speech kid.
All right.
Then I'm also part of the East High Yearbook, led by my speech coach, Miss Bartz.
All right, Miss Bartz, a shout out to her,
Shout out.
phenomenal educator in the system.
Yeah. Actually, wait. If I'm giving shout outs, the head speech coach is Mr. Herring. He's like my
Okay.
school dad. I love him so much.
All right.
And also the third coach that showed up kind of last year and he helped me a lot with my poetry, Mr. Rodas. Yeah, he's really amazing. I would say when it comes to speech, Bartz and Herring, they're the parents.
Okay.
Rodas is the cool uncle.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. So that's the cool uncle. So what are the parents? What makes the parents so good at being parents? And I know they're not your parents; they're your speech parents. And then what makes him the cool uncle that kind of puts a formula together for a national champion?
So I would say Bartz and Herring are like the cool parents because like they've been doing it for a while, and like they're like best friends. Like they did stuff they did speech in college with each other. So like they're like really best friends.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like that dynamic. And also they work so hard to make sure that our team is better. And then last year Rodas showed up. And I remember like he showed up and they were like, "Okay, we have this new coach." And nobody was signing up with coaching for him. But then I signed up and I was like, "Hi, Rodas. I'm Abina." I want to do poetry.
All right. And then it turns out, like I said, he's trained his first national champion. So,
Mm.
so you've talked a couple things about this involvement. I'm always curious, like, what is something that brings you joy? Just something that like maybe people know, but maybe people don't. Like, obviously winning is something that brings you excitement. But what is something that personally brings you joy?
What brings me joy is just like doing things that I'm passionate about, because it's just like the reason why I made like the hard switch from quitting all my sports to primarily being a speech kid is because I realized I was passionate about getting those stories out there and like talking about things that I'm passionate about rather than like playing part of a team. I might be sitting on the bench and I might not be doing stuff to my full capacity when instead I just like doing things as best as I can do them to my full capacity.
And the space that you've been in, and that I've had limited time to be in space with you, but I think anybody who gets, like, we've been here for 36 minutes, and anybody who's gotten that time to spend with you knows that you are an individual that elevates their voice and puts it into space, even during the cadre day. Seeing how masterfully you did that with ease, but also with precision. Why do you feel it's so important that you, just as a female, as a Black female, has a voice, and where do you see that just kind of taking you moving forward? So why is it so important that you as a young person has a voice?
I think as a young Black female, it's very important that I have a voice because in the past, young Black females have not gotten a voice. They have not been able to speak on issues. And as I said with speech, like that gives me the platform to speak about such issues. Like, for example, my speech was on Black Jesus, and it's like, who better to talk about how Jesus was not white than like a Black person?
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just I feel like it's very important, and it's like, who else is gonna do it here in Lincoln, Nebraska? I don't see anybody else doing it. Well, I do see some people doing it, obviously, but it's like at Lincoln East High School, I don't see any other seniors who are Black females who are like using their voice. So it's like I've got to do it. It's kind of my responsibility. That's kind of what it feels like.
So in those spaces, and we want to hear a little bit more about your piece, but in those spaces, you've received, but I've also seen you give advice. And so you had a platform with the superintendent on different things. And so I want to ask you, like, what is one of the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Okay, I've been thinking about this since you gave me the questions, and I'm like, what is the best piece of advice that I've received? But I think just lots of the things that I've been told in speech, which is like, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And I'm like, that's so true. So you got like kind of like if it's not working, you got to change it. And also just something that's written up in the speech room is just will it to happen.
Oh, I like that one. I like that. Will it to happen. That's something we might have to put up here at the studio. Just will it to happen.
I mean, we got some room for some more stuff on the wall here. That's a good one. Get some quotes up there.
Yeah.
Will it to happen.
Love that. Love that. I also ask, what is the worst piece of advice that you've ever received? And that's throughout your life. Now, you don't have to say the person you received it from, but like, what is the worst piece of advice that you've ever received?
I've also been thinking about this one, and I'm like, worst piece of advice?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think I take everyone's advice into consideration. And then if I don't care about it, I just forget it.
Okay.
So
Pete, what about you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, let Pete talk so I can think a little bit more.
That's what I was wondering. It is a tough question. Yeah. So to give her time, I'm curious, what do you think the worst piece of advice you got?
When I started putting this forward, because I saw somebody get asked this, and for me, it's the same piece is the best piece of advice that I've gotten. I also used to think it was the worst piece, and it was do you. And oftentimes people say, be a servant leader, be a giver, and that's the best piece, like making sure, like Abina, you spoke to that earlier. Sometimes you give so much of yourself that you don't pour back into you. And so I think the best piece I've gotten is do you. And I think in some places the worst piece is do you. And so I for me, it's the same piece, because if you don't channel it and apply it the right way, it can be a negative. But
Absolutely.
you also have to take time to invest in yourself. And honestly, that term selfish, people look at that as a negative term. It really isn't. It's part of your well-being. You have to do you. And but sometimes people do that to an extent where it alienates. It's not inclusive. It's not belonging. It doesn't bring forward equity.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. Like mine's pretty similar. Mine's it's all about who you know. And like I get it. That's partially true, but nobody knows or cares about who you are if you don't have any work ethic behind it. Like if you spend all your time kind of kissing up, just trying to rub shoulders, but you're not focusing on the work that needs to be done, it's not really going to matter at the end of the day because nobody's going to really care to notice you if you're not doing the work behind it. So it's a little bit of the same thing. Abina, how about you?
Okay. I've still been I'm still kind of stumped. Worst piece of advice. I don't know. Maybe probably like the thought that you've got to stick with something all the way through.
Yeah.
Because at some points it's like you shouldn't stick with it. Like with me and playing sports, like I was not meant to be a softball player.
Okay. I like that. So as we're talking about advice, you're in education, and I want you to just think like you have a global stage. Again, like I said, you spoke to the superintendent, you provided some advice. I don't even know if you remember, if you recall what that advice was. And so I don't know if you're interested or willing to share some of that. I know Harrison wasn't in the room, but I thought it, and he said it was phenomenal. It was something that he was like, okay, that's something to reflect on.
Well, specifically with the superintendent, what happened was he was talking about this is kind of dark, but the school shooting threats that were going on for LPS and just in Nebraska.
And the communications that went out, and one of the pieces was about some thoughts on the communication. What was something that they did well, but what was a suggestion? And I don't know if you remember the suggestion that she made.
I do remember. So he was like, was it good? Was it too much, too little? And I was like, it was a good amount of communication, but what he was saying was not helping. For example, my principal, I love him. He came on the intercom and was like, "Hey guys, we've heard about the rumors on social media, so just don't be worried, blah blah blah." And everyone in the room was like, "Don't be worried about what?" So I feel like that I told them that was the issue, that they need to stop beating around the bush. Like, especially for high schoolers, we're high school students, we're mature enough, we know what's going on. So just no beating around the bush, being like completely direct and telling us the truth about what's happened, or else it's going to make us more scared.
Yeah, and I love his receptiveness to understanding, like, okay, that directness in regards to that. So on that, what is a piece of advice? You have the stage with every educator in the country. What is a piece of advice that you would give to educators if you had them in a space that you could speak to?
I would say to every educator to not judge kids at all, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're masking. You don't know what they're hiding. And you don't know the way that they're going to act out on that. Let that be just being rude in class, let's say drug use. But it can also be like people can be going through something and instead turn out using it in a beautiful way, like being a speech kid and talking about their issues at home. So it's really like it's like a double-edged sword having like rough times at home. So I would say no matter what, don't judge the kid. You don't know what they're not telling you. So, yeah.
What's a piece of advice before we go to break here briefly? What's a piece of advice that you would give to scholars? And I say scholars are 0 to 24, 25 years old. What's a piece of advice that you would give to your peers?
I would continue with what I said to the educators. Don't be judgmental of your peers. You have no clue what they're going through. Like, I have certain people who will talk to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, so and so is doing such and such. Can you believe it?" And it's like, well, you don't know what led them to that decision. You don't know what led them to where they're at. Like, I feel like certain people wouldn't like every single action that I take. So it's like you don't know why they're making that choice. So you can't judge them. You don't know them. You can't just be so judgeful and like spiteful of these people.
Great. Well, we'll be right back with a closing segment on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at huskerfantravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at huskerfantravel.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
For 15 years, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping has been helping Lincoln become healthier, happier, and more fit through our proven combination of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching. And to celebrate 15 years of success, we're offering you 50% off our next 10-week challenge beginning September 14th. That's 10 weeks of fun group fitness classes and individualized coaching for half off. And at the end of the 10 weeks, someone's walking away with $1,000 for the best transformation. Come check it out. What do you have to lose? Click on the banner at theticketfm.com to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill or 70th and Vine. And check us out online at fxblincoln.com.
It's the greatest time of the year again. Kickoff is here and football is officially back. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and this year you can too. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code EARLY, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code EARLY to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 19 plus in Nebraska and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
For 15 years, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping has been helping Lincoln become healthier, happier, and more fit through our proven combination of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching. And to celebrate 15 years of success, we're offering you 50% off our next 10-week challenge beginning September 14th. That's 10 weeks of fun group fitness classes and individualized coaching for half off. And at the end of the 10 weeks, someone's walking away with $1,000 for the best transformation. Come check it out. What do you have to lose? Click on the banner at theticketfm.com to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill or 70th and Vine. And check us out online at fxblincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Bigger Than the Score. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos as we get the tricky headset situation sorted out. And I will say, Abina, don't worry. Everyone does that at least twice. I've still done it like every other day. I'll catch myself messing with those headphones.
No, it's like a grown folks Rubik's Cube. That's what I always say to individuals like that. So, no, we've had a great Sunday morning. Glad. Thank you for all those who have joined in and listened. I want to thank Abina, Scholar Abina, and just a couple other questions before we close out the segment. We could have 3 hours with you, but you talked a little bit about just advice that you give to scholars and educators. Tell us a little bit just about like what are your future plans and where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not if, but your success that you're going to continue to have.
Okay, this scared me when I saw the Instagram post. I was like,
Okay.
we're talking about my future?
Yes.
Well, I'm probably going to go to UNL. There's like 90% chance. I'm going to apply to other colleges, but like the thought of leaving here is kind of scary to me.
Okay.
So probably going to end up staying here where my family is, where I have a community that I already know. But
future professional aspirations that you plan on possibly entering the field, and you're going to be an asset in whatever you do, whether it's lawyer, whether it's, like I said, running a university. But what is something that you say, like, this might be a track I could see myself in?
Well, I really like computer science. I'm an officer for Girls Who Code at my school. So that's something I'm very passionate about. My dream job is something that I actually like. It's like since my childhood, I've been watching this, but it's basically animation, specifically animating The Sims, which is one of my favorite games ever. Like I've watched behind the scenes and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. But I don't even know like what you major in.
Well, hey, if individuals out there listening and can help with that, please get in touch with us. And we definitely, because like I said, you definitely would be a tremendous asset. So one of the things that we talk about is just, and DP and Rebecca have made this the foundation of the station is love. And so I always ask individuals to finish the statement, love is. So how would you finish that?
Well, I twist it around. God is love.
Like that.
Yeah. Well, as you can tell, I just got back from church.
Okay.
Here's my little bracelet.
Okay.
This is like my matching bracelet with my best friend. And yeah, God is love. Like no matter what, I can be like, okay, even if I did the worst thing ever, God is still gonna love me, and I can still like apologize and repent. And yeah.
Bring that Sunday, and I appreciate that. So we oftentimes, and I want to make sure, because sometimes I run up against the music, and so if we have a little extra time, we'll use it. But we do a 30-second huddle, 30-second love huddle. And I gave you the option. It's just something to motivate our audience and others that contains a message of love, and wanted to give you the option whether it to be a just kind of an impromptu piece or share with us, because we've talked about you being a national champion. Share some of 30 seconds or so of your piece from your national award-winning engagement.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
This is what I believe is the most powerful part of my speech. It's
Awesome.
the very end. It's the climax. It's where I had people clap in the middle of it, which I was like, oh my gosh, yay.
And if you need to stand up and adjust the mic, you're welcome to
okay.
do that.
I'm going to try. Usually when you do a poetry piece, you have a black book and you are performing it, but I don't have a black book and I'm not going to perform it, but I'm just going to read it, maybe passionately.
That's what makes great radio right there. So Harris and I are ready for it. I want to go ahead and I'm going to get this on film for you too.
Okay. Let's see how much I can remember, but this is for backup. Okay. And the news reporter says, Jesus is white. And she says it with a smile on her face, so sure of her ability to rewrite history, rewrite bodies to make them look like her. She says it the same way politicians say racism no longer exists, the same way police officers call dead black boys thugs. Her voice doing that American thing, crawling out of her throat, reaching out to clasp onto something that does not belong to her. What makes a black man a black man? Is it a white woman's confirmation? Is it her head nod? Is it the way that she's allowed to go onto national television and autocorrect the Bible and God himself and tell him who his son really was? What makes a black man a black man? Is it the way news reporters retell their deaths like fairy tales? Is it the way they cannot outrun a bullet? How can she say Jesus was a white man when he died in the blackest way possible? With his hands up, with his mother watching, crying at his feet, her tears nothing more than gossip for the news reporters and prophets to document, with his body left to sour in the sun, with the human stripped from his black. Remember that? How the whole world is saved by a black man. A man so loved by God, he called him his kin, called him black. Now ain't that suspicious? That's my climax.
Wow. Right there, what you just heard, a 2024 national championship, poetry interpretation. Abina, I want to truly just thank you, not just for being here today, but thank you for being who you are, how you've poured into so many others and what you'll continue to do. And so with that being said, thanks for your time this morning. I continue to look forward to everything that you're going to become and everything that you're going to do. We'll be back next week on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
Yeah, thank you.